Unless we have more equal representation, our politics won't be half as good as it should be. Who said that? David Cameron, back in 2009. So how's it going? Well, you can judge the quality of the politics for yourself, but we've been crunching the numbers to find out what Parliament might look like after next year's general election. Here's Giles.
Politicians are elected to Parliament to represent their constituents, but Parliament's makeup doesn't reflect society well at all, and the parties know it. In 2010, more women and ethnic minority candidates entered Westminster, but not significantly more, in a chamber still dominated by white males. Looking at the current makeup of the Commons, Labour has 86 women MPs, which is 33% of the parliamentary party. The Conservatives now have 47 women MPs, which is just over 15%, and the Lib Dems have 7 female MPs, 12% of the party. Now, all the parties have been selecting candidates in those seats where existing MPs are retiring and to fight seats they hope to win at the next election. And they've all been trying to up the number of women and ethnic minorities because this counts and can be capitalised on.
Picture tells 1,000 words. Look at the all-male front bench raised before us. And he says he wants to represent the whole country.
Now, despite that jibe, Labour know they've got a long way to go on this issue of being representative. So the Sunday Politics has commissioned some analysis on what might happen for all the parties at the 2015 general election. Let's look at this particular area of lack of women and ethnic minorities. Let's look at women first.
To get a working majority on a uniform swing, Labour needs 68 more seats than they won at the last election. In the most marginal, 40 have women candidates. That would mean if they got just enough to win power, they would have 133 women, which is 41% of their MPs, up 8% from last time. The Conservatives currently have 305 MPs, and their strategy at the next election is to concentrate on their 40 most marginal seats and the 40 seats most mathematically likely to turn Conservative on a uniform swing. In those 40, 29 candidates have been selected so far, and 7 of them are women. If they kept hold of their existing seats and won those 29 new ones, they would have 56 women MPs, around 17%. That's up 2% from last time. The Liberal Democrats are fighting to hold on to the 57 seats they won at the last election. If they managed that, they would have 10 female MPs. That's 18% of them, 6% more than the last election. However, all the indications are it could be a bad night for the Lib Dems, and if they lost their 20 most vulnerable seats on a uniform swing, it would leave them with just 4 women MPs, 11% of the party. One Conservative peer who thinks the party needs to look at all options if its female numbers go down in 2015 says Parliament's simply missing a trick.
The bottom line is, if 50% of our population is not being looked at even, are we really using the best of our talent? And yes, women's life experiences are different. They are not superior, they are not inferior, they are different. But surely those life experiences need to be represented and here at Westminster.
So that's the parliamentary projection for gender. What about ethnicity? According to the last census in 2011, 13% of people in the UK described themselves as non-white. Labour currently has 16 MPs from black, Asian or minority ethnic backgrounds, or just over 6%. If they get their extra 68 seats, that figure would go up to 26. 8% of their party. The Tories currently have 11 black or ethnic minority candidates, or 4% of the party. If they get an extra 29 seats, that would mean 14 black and ethnic minority MPs, again putting them on 4%. The Liberal Democrats don't have any black or ethnic minority MPs. If they manage to cling on to their current number of seats, they would have 2, giving them a proportion of 4%. If they lost their 20 most vulnerable seats, that would go back down to 0. But even if you changed the mix of gender and ethnicity in Parliament, would that solve the problem? Probably not. Only 10% of us have gone to a private fee-paid school. 33% of new MPs in 2010 did. A quarter of all MPs went to Oxford or Cambridge. Only a fifth of us went to any university.
I think there's this huge disillusionment with the political elite, which has so much to do with the fact people look at them and go, nah, these people don't look anything like people like us. They don't speak like us, they don't understand our experiences, they can't communicate in a way that we can relate to. And if you look at turnout, in the moment, if you're an unskilled worker, you're 20 points less likely to turn out and vote than a middle-class professional. And that is getting worse and worse with every single election.
And that's the key. Evidence does suggest that if a party reflects the society it exists within, it is more likely to get the votes they all so badly want.
That was Giles reporting. It's just coming up to 20 to 12. You're watching the